Let's go fishing. Saltwater edition. This is part one of a two-part series where I went on vacation with some buddies and decided to cast out some lines and try out saltwater fishing. As you saw, I was rigging up some fish bites there, the shrimp flavor of course. I got those from the local tackle shop in Avon, North Carolina. It was called Frank and Fran's Bait and Tackle. Super nice people and helped me pick out a couple things. I'm a noob, so I thought I had a bite here, but it turned out that it was probably just the waves. Now I had my heaviest disc sinker on there, but as I learned on this trip, I should have spent the money and got the pyramid sinkers. I was honestly just using what I had since I'm used to catfishing on the Potomac back in Virginia and the DC area. I also decided to go with the fish bites because I was in a beach house with some of my buddies, and since I was the only one really fishing, I didn't want to stink up the fridge with any cut bait. So this was actually the first day we all went to the beach, so I brought my two rods and decided to cast this big one out. The other part of the rig was a high-low rig, and I was told by the staff at the bait shop that my current setup should work. However, I guess I should have looked at the pier right beside me and figured out that nobody was fishing, so it might not have been a good day for fishing anyway. But that wasn't going to stop me from at least trying since we were going to be at the beach the whole day. And I think it was about this point that I realized that the waves were coming in at an angle and just pushing my bait up onto the surf. So I wasn't really getting much done, so I decided to walk out into the water and see if I could cast out a little bit further, and even decided to move my rod holder down. I kind of went back and forth between standing on the beach and waiting with the rod and other times standing in the water holding the rod. Now for context, I grew up fishing saltwater with my dad on the Chesapeake Bay because my grandparents had a river house up there, but I was way too young to really remember any of the tactics. And once they sold the house when I was in about middle school, it was kind of time to start learning freshwater fishing, which was few and far between until of course recently just last year when I decided to get into fishing as an adult. So after having trouble with the waves pushing my bait in, I just kept casting out in different areas, hoping to get some type of bite in between, the bait getting pushed up onto the shore. Now I was also on this beach trip to have fun for the most part, so I wasn't really taking it too seriously, which is why you don't see me rebaiting and walking down the beach to find better spots. But hey, you can't catch anything if the line's not in the water, so I just kept throwing it out and seeing what would happen. And I probably could have walked out a little bit farther, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too big on sharks in the ocean. As a matter of fact, I spend most of my time skimboarding or sitting on the beach, because while sharks may be my favorite animal, I do respect their space and I'm cool with that. Now this is one of the lures that I picked up from the tackle shop. The staff told me it was about one of the most versatile lures out there since, I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on just a quick OBX fishing trip. And with my rod with the fish bites on there getting pushed up onto the surf every time, I decided to walk out a little bit and see if I could try some artificial. I was told basically just to cast this out as far as I could and just rip it in, which is exactly what I did. Now I chose this small of a lure just because I was looking to catch anything and wanted to increase my chances. But after casting a bunch and having no luck, I decided to put the rod away and enjoy the beach. And that night I decided I would go out early in the morning before everybody else got up. So here's me rigging up the rod, trying to get another bite early in the morning. I was really hoping that the waves would be a little bit more chill. Stay tuned for part 2 to see our freshwater man go saltwater.